In today's episode, we're not doing beer.
This is how we're starting?
Yeah.
This is the intro?
Yeah, for gear and beer.
You didn't even come through the door.
I know.
You're just like standing in the background.
Well, you want to know why?
I liked that you were like, I know it's weird, but here's how I do this show.
Well, I haven't figured
walk
it out.
in, I hand you your drink, and then we start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I did none of that.
You're not really.
Well, then cheers.
You started with me grumbling, and then you were like, this is a good place to begin.
I think this is the best place to begin, because we're not doing bourbon. We're not doing beer. We should
be doing bourbon.
I know, and tell them why we're not.
Because you drink it all. You drank all of... We would be doing bourbon if I had anything to... I mean, it's kind of disgraceful, to be fair, that you have a Kentucky boy up here recording, and I didn't bring any bourbon with me. But we are doing Peach Red Bull. This is officially sponsored, and by the way, the Peach Nectarine is the best flavor.
Dude, I still think the original's the best.
It's
and
not.
I'm a cheap ass, so I don't even
it's
normally
okay.
get Red Bull.
I mean, you're wrong.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
You're allowed to be, though.
You are a Red Bull expert.
You're allowed to be wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, well.
I've had every flavor multiple times.
Okay. Well, since you're the Red Bull expert, I was going to introduce you
Is this the gear that we're talking about today?
I think that's what this has turned into. But you need to probably introduce yourself as who you are. Or I'm going to give the introduction of who I think you are.
Okay.
You're Jessie Anderson.
Mm-hmm, that's true.
Also known as Quackalope, King Quack, and to my son, Mr. Jesse.
Never heard King Quack before, but the others would be accurate.
I swear I've heard that from you.
No. King is a lot of people refer to me as Quack.
Oh.
Not King Quack, though.
Okay, fair enough.
It's a little
Maybe
ridiculous.
a little much, a little too much.
You all right there?
Yeah, I'm all right.
See, you're getting comfortable.
I am getting comfortable because I'm on camera with you. But
I mean, I'm very comfortable. I'm just entertained by you adjusting everything.
I'm still getting new to this because you've got a nice little setup, and mine is embarrassingly just coming out of the side of the shot, smacking me in the face.
I hear you.
But I mean, you got to start somewhere, and so for gear and beer, this is where we're starting, baby.
Okay.
So Jessie Anderson, we have worked together now for what? We met
6 years.
6 years ago?
Probably. Yeah. I was a wedding photographer when we met down in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
You were a videographer for a nonprofit.
Mm-hmm.
I got hired on as a photographer for one of the events that was being hosted in Cincinnati. Just a wedding photographer on, what was it? What was the app that I was using at the time? It was one of these little contract booking apps where you pay some dollars to send out a little note.
Did it work? Well, obviously it worked.
It worked the 6 months that I was using it, and then it became way too expensive. They started charging you more and more to send out because you were paying for the connection.
Oh, I got you.
So if you were the client, you'd put up an ad saying I need a wedding photographer on June 26th, and then I'd be like, that's worth $6 for me to apply to, and so I'd pay money for that bridge.
What is this website?
I forget the name of it. It was an app. It was an app for quite a while. I really don't remember the name, but that's how I booked the contract in Cincinnati. I probably paid $4 to book a $1,200 photography contract, and we connected there. And you were scrappy. You were just starting out.
Oh yeah,
I was entertained.
I think it was at that point when we met. You definitely were probably light years ahead in regards to video and photography. At least you had a GH4, which I thought was really impressive.
I was doing it.
You were doing.
You were starting. That's the difference.
That's true. That's a good point.
Light years ahead in skill and stuff like that. I don't necessarily think so. I think the only difference is I was working as a freelancer actively, and you were beginning to experiment with that.
How old were you then?
22.
That's so funny.
23 maybe.
All right. Well, I don't want to spend too much.
I'm 28 now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh. So 6 years. Fast forward, we've worked together. Oh gosh, in multiple facets. We've lost jobs together. I've watched you get fired.
That's true.
Yeah,
it's true.
But you know what? I watched you get fired.
You have earned me and cost me tens of thousands of dollars.
I lost you $60,000 in a few hours.
That is true.
And I've only mentioned that once ever on this whole entire channel, and it was totally embarrassing. But God, what a lesson!
It was a good lesson. We'll talk about it.
And
one day.
I think you also got to see me squirm and totally just that was so embarrassing.
That's part of the process of freelancing.
Yeah.
Either way,
but
we met quite a few years ago. We are both videographers. You're not a photographer, but I'm a videographer, photographer, and we've been collaborators and friends really since that first meeting. I mean, there was a 2-year period where we were connecting and talking shop, and you were sending me work, primarily you sending me work.
I think the role that's about to change.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, that's the investment, right? That's the long term. But there was like a 2-year period where we didn't see each other again outside of just short-term communications, but both had a respect for kind of the drive and the ambition. And when you identify someone that is like that and actually trying to make things happen, I think you just hold on to those people.
I 100%
because they're
agree.
rare.
They are.
Why are they so rare?
I don't know, and we're constantly looking for those type of people, and I honestly think that's.
Scoot your butt forward a little bit.
Do I need to be more forward?
Yeah, just a touch forward.
I got scared of you. You
I know.
Intimidating.
I know. I'm handsome. I'm charming. It's dangerous.
But I agree with you.
You're a married man, though, so don't worry.
I know. Stay away, bud. But yeah, I mean, I think we were drawn to each other. Yeah, I've watched you over the years, the grinding, the aspect of that. Then I got to work with you full time, which was awesome. Are you gonna just plug the whole time?
Yeah. We said grinding.
Grinding?
Right.
Oh,
that's why they sponsored us.
Oh, because we're grinders.
Well, if you also need to work late nights, stay up long evenings, drive hours at a time, and still effectively shoot a wedding, Red Bull
or Monster.
It gives you wings. I mean, is this how you earn sponsorships?
I guess so. That was a pretty good live read, to be honest with you.
Because my thing is, if we pretend like we're officially sponsored,
you got to fake it till you make it.
At some point, Red Bull's just going to go, I guess we owe them a check.
That would be amazing.
Isn't that how that works?
I mean, I've got. I could put it over this back shoulder. I can product placement wise. We've got a wall here.
I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's how that works.
I mean, I didn't want to talk about it this early into this whole kind of project, but that is why there's so many shelves. It's product placement. Completely.
You realize I'm having fun distracting you.
You are, because we haven't made it into gear yet, but I'm still really enjoying it.
But I am normally the person that's interviewing.
That's why you're enjoying this so much. Are you driving this bus?
No.
You sure?
No, but I'm enjoying derailing it.
Yeah, you really are. Yeah. But it's still fun.
Sure.
All right, so now I'm going to actually tell them who you are.
Sure.
Because we've talked about Jessie Anderson.
At this point, no one's watching, though.
I'll cut the beginning of it to make it more interesting.
Wait, the beginning was great.
No, well, why not? I might save the best part.
Editing out the best parts.
I did it for the last episode.
Saving the best parts for the ending.
Nobody's going to watch 40 minutes. Hopefully they will. Maybe because it's you.
I mean,
because you have a massive audience.
Some people.
Which is how we then lead into Mr. Anderson being Mr. Quackalope. How many subscribers are you up to now?
We just hit 22,000.
Okay, and if anybody's wondering what I'm referring to, YouTube, Jessie, you have over the past year and a half, you went from 1,000 subscribers to...
We were at... So in March of last year, when the world decided it wanted to give up for a little while, I went full-time YouTube.
Yep.
And took the company that I'd been building for about a year at that point. That was
a board gaming company.
Board gaming media channel and community platform.
Sure.
I took that from about 5,000 subscribers to about 22,000 now.
Okay.
Which in the YouTube space isn't maybe that impressive necessarily. But for context, over the last 2 years, we've been one of the fastest growing independent media channels in our community, or in that industry.
And the only other person that's growing faster than you
is one of our best friends.
I was going to say, you guys are like...
We're very tight, yes.
That's amazing.
And he's been growing faster than us largely due to his organization and execution.
What's his name again?
Board Game Co., Alex Radcliffe. Right. His consistency, daily videos around hot topics, leading conversation.
Sure.
We still book more high-end stuff. We still get access to some different previews than he does and items like that. And even from our community, we still earn more technically. But he's about to cross. I mean, congratulations to him. He's about to cross 20K as well.
And he's a one-man band completely, right?
He is. I mean, and largely I have been too. I mean, I have a lot of friends that come feature and stuff on the show, and I do have a co-host and partner that runs the podcast with us and does a lot of other things. But largely when it comes to the YouTube channel and what's been built there, it is primarily... The majority of the work has primarily been me.
Gotcha.
It's different, right? Because there's a difference between I could not have built it without my team, without the community, without the support that I've had from a lot of people, yourself included. But on top of that, the 80 hours a week that you put in is still me.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
So there's a dance there. But and then for more context, 22,000 in the YouTube space doesn't seem like a ton. It's respectable, but it's not a ton. In our industry, however, the biggest people in the board game space are about 320, 340,000 subscribers.
Which is solid.
And so, which is solid,
Sure.
but it's
But
not
we're
a
not
million.
talking a million,
We're
yeah.
not talking millions,
Which
right?
is- yeah.
And so when you look at percentages, right now, I believe we are on the edge of, if not within the category of the top 10 channels in the board game space. If we're not quite there yet, over the course of the next year, right now we're paced to hit between 35 and 50K over the next 12 months. If we just maintain trajectory.
Gotcha.
And that'll very squarely put us within that top 5 slot.
Gotcha. So I know that we want to talk about gear, but I was even discussing with you beforehand that I wanted to take a different approach with you because I almost look at like YouTube and all these platforms and stuff as your gear, which is, I just
Sure.
bring this up because I think we're going to spend a lot of time discussing this. And I wanted to kind of go down the wormhole considering looking at these platforms and stuff as your gear. You've built these massive communities. I wanted to kind of, if you would lay out some of like your guiding, like maybe principles in regards to, I know when I talk to you offline, not in front of the camera, that's one thing that you and I are always bouncing stuff off.
Sure.
It's like, hey, I want to try this. I say yay or nay. You do the same with me. Could you maybe like list a few of like your principles for someone out there that's trying to grow? I find these really unique and interesting, and they're very simple. But when you say them, it I don't know. It always is like a light bulb that comes on when you say it.
So there's two main areas that I think I can answer here. The first and primary one would be identifying, for the content creator, would be identifying the type of content that you're producing.
Sure.
It should be doing one of two things. It should either be solving a problem that exists in this space. That's the entrepreneurial method, right? You find something that you're
Sure.
frustrated with that isn't working as fluidly as you want, or a problem that needs to be solved, and you create something or create media or create content that solves that, right? So
Yep.
it could be that there's not enough honest board game reviews. It could be that there's not enough high production video, stuff like that. The other element, though, that your content could be around is it could be posing a question. So those
Okay.
are the two things: either asking a question or solving a problem. From there, once you've determined the type of content that you're building, it comes down to community building.
Sure.
I think that's the thing that people overlook the most, and it is the foundation and the core of not only what we've built, but I think everything I've ever done. You need to value every single individual that's
Yeah.
interacting.
Yeah, what is it? What did you say? It's like no comment, unanswered. You've said it before. Where you've like rapidly fired off of. It's like you refuse to like leave any comment unanswered.
I can't keep up
like,
at the moment, though.
Well, but that's why you've gotten to this point, though.
Yes,
Wouldn't you say, like at
yes,
the beginning.
I would like to be still at a position where I answer and respond to every single comment on every platform, every email, every message, every. It is harder and harder
Sure.
because I genuinely can't keep up. I mean, I'm to the point where I'm falling behind on Facebook messages
Yeah.
and text messages, which is something that I never thought I'd be behind on.
But in a way, it's just a sign of this growth that's happened. And also, I think the more messages are coming because they know that what you're doing. How am I even trying to say it? In the beginning, you respond to everything because you can. It's small amounts of people.
And
But
you
then
should. I mean, it's one of the most valuable things that people overlook is that the first people that are responding and commenting on your platform are your biggest fans.
Oh, 100%.
They're your foundation.
Even if there's only 10 of them.
I have collaborated with. I mean, one of the people that has been on my show over the course of last year, playing games with me, and one of my good friends right now, Max. He was a fan of Quackalope when we were under 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
Then I moved back to Kentucky, and he became a in-person studio guest. And now he has launched his own channel called Table Knots.
Okay.
And we've pushed him and promoted him and drove.
So
him,
he's under the umbrella, I guess, of.
No, he's not.
or
We
just-
don't have an umbrella. He's my friend. He's
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah, yeah.
collaborator, and
Okay.
so he's building his own voice and platform. And he just passed 500 subscribers. And I'm super proud of him. Like, I'm super excited for
That's
him.
big time.
And I think part of it is because, he came and visited and said, well, anyone could do this.
Yeah.
Right. And it's fun and he's enjoying it. But another big part of it is that relationship wouldn't be there if I didn't actively say I'm going to value every interaction as if there's a
Yeah.
person sitting across the table.
So
People lose sight of that.
Yeah, I mean, I want to keep tapping into the community conversation because there's another thing that you did. I think it was it this? No, it was last year was it what is the hold on this, because to me this was one of your big achievements that you did.
Sure.
And that was all based around community. And can you give the whole rundown of
Sure.
how
So
this happened, why this happened?
We run a Discord community that has been built from our Patreon supporters. They're the mod team over there. They're establishing the server, everything like that. All I've done is invited people to be a part of it. We've got about 3,500 community members over there.
Yep.
Nearly daily games happening on TTS and stuff. It's a platform where you play board games online. And so throughout Thanksgiving, due to the state of the world, there's a lot of people, including myself, that weren't connecting with family the way that we normally would be. And so within a 36-hour time period, I got frustrated and decided that we were going to hold a convention, a big gathering, a digital or online convention. And here's the context for that. Over the course of the last year, there's been a lot of communities and in-person conventions that have moved into a digital space. Mm-hmm. And they have been, as far as I've experienced, a pretty resounding failure. It is very hard to move community that doesn't exist into a brand new platform to try to connect with a digital environment for a physical product.
Yeah.
And they've left me repeatedly feeling more disconnected, more alone, more confused, they just don't, they remind you, they're an apology for the state of the world.
Sure.
They remind you that things kind of suck right now.
Yeah.
And we didn't want to do that with QuackCon. We didn't want to do that with the Thanksgiving edition. So within 36 hours, we reached out to about 20 different publisher, sponsors, got a lot of giveaways, thousands of dollars worth of games being given away across that single day. I reached out to my community. They help schedule, host events, get everything up and running. We rebuilt the Discord a little bit to facilitate for that. We got that custom artwork and t-shirt done within a day flip. John DeCampos, an amazing artist out of, I'm not going to say where he's out of because I don't remember. I believe it's like the Philly-Baltimore area.
Oh, cool. So not far
close
away.
not far away. But I know if I get one of those wrong, he's not going to forgive me. And we hosted probably one of the most successful digital conventions that I've seen within our community. That was the point of it. We had a active community there already. Mm-hmm. And so we leveraged our fan base, we leveraged our community, and we did something that was for them, to celebrate them. And we didn't apologize for the fact that Thanksgiving was weird this year. Yeah. I made a few different videos, and the main title of the video, the main theme behind it was Screw Loneliness.
Yeah.
And the whole thing was driven, again, getting back to those one interactions, taking a comment or taking an individual seriously enough to react to it, right? As if someone's sitting across from you. I got a comment on one of my videos where it was a gentleman who was talking about the fact that he got into the hobby over the course of the last year or so, and has slowly, his wife, I believe, left him or doesn't enjoy playing games. His kids, he's an empty nester now. His kids have all moved on.
Geez.
And so he was commenting on how over the last year he has boxes and boxes of unopened games sitting on the shelf that he never thinks he's going to be able to play. Like, he's kind of was giving up hope in a way.
Sure.
And was just vicariously living through our game nights, our experience, our content. And I appreciate that. I appreciate him connecting with us and being part of that community. But the idea of him looking at his shelf and resigning himself to the fact that he'll never play those games, that they're promises that he's not going to be able to keep, that pissed me off. Because I care about my community, right? I care about him.
Sure, yeah.
And so that post is what triggered me calling up Jan, my co-host, and saying, screw this. Like, what the fuck is happening here, right? No, genuinely. and getting frustrated to the point that I said, let's not give him an excuse. Screw you being lonely. Screw you being by yourself. Screw you not playing the games that are on your shelf. Here's an answer. Here's us publicly stating we will put a stake in the ground and invite you to come play. And if you don't show up, that's your problem.
Yeah.
But you're not allowed to be lonely if you're part of our space, right?
I love it.
That's what we did. Yeah. It was good. It was really good.
Yeah. How many people did you? It's funny because you called me, or no, I called you because I was getting my car worked on the day before you were scheduling all this, and literally I couldn't believe that all that was going on.
So we had hundreds of active people come through.
Okay. And you gamed for 36 hours straight or something, or 24 hours straight?
No, it was about a 12 to 15 hour convention. We planned it in a 36-hour time period. So from idea to application, it was a fast turnaround.
It's crazy.
We had hundreds of active people in playing games, hosting, talking, chatting throughout the course of the day, and we have an international community. You know, my audience is only 33% here in the States, and so
Really?
yeah, and so we had one chat room that was just the welcome center where we had someone waking up, getting their coffee. We had people that were doing nightcaps before going to bed. We had a dude calling in from his office at work, like just, you know, on lunch break.
Yeah.
So it was literally all across the world, every continent represented except for, you know, Antarctica.
Sure.
One
day.
You know, and we had I think our average interactions, we did giveaways every single hour to get a read on, because you'd only react one time to enter into a giveaway.
Sure.
And our average interaction was anywhere from 700 to 900 active interactions on each giveaway every hour of the day.
Was there a strategy behind the every hour? Was it to keep
yes.
people engaged, I'm guessing?
It was. Yeah. It was not only to spread out the giveaways across a time period that would give people opportunity to enter that were in different regions, because time zones becomes a factor.
Smart play.
But also very much and very logically, digital spaces are hard to keep people engaged. We have a rule in our Discord community that if we're going to do an @everyone post, which is a post that triggers everyone in the server,
sure,
which are really annoying. Discord's a terrible platform when it comes to it. Really is, because if you join 5 or 6 different groups, your phone gets spammed all the time.
Oh, I couldn't even imagine.
And so our Discord has established the rule that if we're doing a message that is pinging everyone in our community, there is a giveaway attached to it. And so throughout the course of and so throughout the course of the day, you know, we were able to do hourly updates, inviting people to play in game.
Man, that's clever.
We were doing giveaways every single hour. It was always cycling, always triggering, and even for people that couldn't be part of gaming sessions that day, it still meant they were checking in, they were popping in for 3 or 4 minutes, hitting the react button, saying hi, and just keeping everything going.
Wow. Okay, so there's another way you built your community through that. I'm trying to think of all these accomplishments because there's been so many this year.
There's not that many.
There are a lot, man.
I'm just very stubborn.
But yeah, well, either way, I mean, like I said, and it revisits what we were talking about earlier. I'm just always blown away by.
Yeah, I've burnt out like 4 times this last year.
Well, you're allowed
so,
to.
like, no, I'm just saying, like, let's put you're saying all these accomplishments, and I'm like, let's put them in context for people that are listening.
Yeah.
I've worked my butt off. Yeah. We've built a really, really cool and incredible space, and I've burnt out like 4 times.
Yeah. Well,
so, you know, it's just context. Like, it's not just all success. It's not just all, like, it's not all fame and glory. It's not all, it's hard. Like,
well, I was
and it's
say,
okay that it's hard.
I've been able to see like the back end of this whole journey.
Sure.
Because like it's like now we get to celebrate it a little bit more, even though celebrating to me is almost like we don't want to over celebrate, right? Because the sky's the limit. But I mean, like I said, I was there watching you get canned, and now I get to like brag about you. So it's kind of crazy because I remember even just coming over to your place when all that kind of stuff was going on, and it's like, what are we gonna do?
Oh, we were laughing about it at the time.
But it
is nerve-wracking.
It is, yeah.
You know, being in a position that is unstable, you know, or unstable, is nerve-wracking. It's a hard spot to be in, but luckily through the course of years, through application, through, you know, I'm confident enough. Like I'm the best bet I've ever made.
I think everyone should think of themselves as
sure.
that.
And I'd encourage people too. Don't bet on me. Like, bet on yourself.
I think that's most people's problems. I think a lot of
people have plenty of reasons to doubt themselves and have been given very few reasons to trust themselves. It is from family members and trauma from youth and people saying that you're not going to succeed or you're not going to be a failure or you should go down this career path or you should and time after time again. They've failed, and people have hit them for that.
Yeah,
and they've started hitting themselves for that to the point where they start believing that the failures were the main pinpoints of their life, and not the successes they had.
Which is a slippery slope because then you probably
which
stuck.
has for me, you know, it's been a journey of I don't really have a good option. Right? Like, you know, like struggling to like switching high schools multiple times, dropping out and then returning, struggling to finish, like going to college with no real direction, trying to decide where I wanted to go when I graduated, like leaving, you know, finishing up school without a job or a career path and going, well, I guess I'm doing wedding. Like, there's just been a lot of situations where it was either sink or swim.
Sure.
And at that point, you either let yourself drown or you succeed. And I've succeeded enough that I'm willing to bet on myself. But I think I think that's disincentivized a lot for a lot of people. And it's amazing because Jordan Peterson talks about the idea that people only need a little bit of encouragement.
Is that
not a
why,
lot?
Is that why? And you started to do your other channel?
Sure. Yeah.
To
I have the personal
empower
channel.
to empower people to say, look, I can do it. You can do it. Like, do you want to like what's the reasoning behind that? And I know it's going off on a little bit of a different tangent, but you have your other YouTube channel, Jessie Anderson.
So this year I started Jessie Samuel Anderson. I always use my middle name. One,
Okay.
because Jessie Anderson has a Yu-Gi-Oh character tied to it, which means it's hard to compete with on Google. Yu-Gi-Oh it's a TV show.
Okay.
And two, because I like Samuel. I
Yeah.
like my grandfather's name. You know, I like that lineage. But I did start that personal brand. I've taken about a week and a half or so hiatus off of it.
You were going hard on it. I mean, every day, right?
Yeah. I'm still trying to get to a point where I can produce everyday content. We're structuring it a little bit differently. We're going to be building it out in a different way. But no, I mean, we're talking about burnout, and you know, I'm off the heels of being completely exhausted for about a week.
Sure.
Which is okay. Like, it's fine. It's a position you can be in. And it's reasonable, especially given the state of the last year. Yeah. But on that personal channel, we talk about it's not about what I know.
Sure.
Some of it is. Some of it I do know. Some of it I'm very confident. Like, I speak very confidently forward. But even in conversations like this, I am listening to myself and learning through the conversation and doing my very best to coalesce the thoughts that I have into something tangible.
Okay.
And there's a few things that I believe are truths. There's a few things that I've learned very heavily over the course of the last, lifetime, or the last 8, 9, 10 years that I believe are true. Don't be malicious. Don't be a hypocrite. And if you want to have an impact on the world, it starts and ends with the person right in front of you. Those are 3 things that I live by, that I define myself by. But there's very few things that, outside of that, there's very few things that I believe are solid, that are set in stone, that I don't know yet. So the channel is an experimentation with documenting a journey. I'm 28 years old.
Yeah.
I got a lot of growing up to do. I've got a lot of books left to read. I've got a lot of conversations left to have.
A lot of people to help.
Yes, and the amount of growing up that I've done in the past 6 years has been incredible to watch, right?
Yeah.
And I'm fascinated by it. Like, I'm fascinated just by how life transforms people, like how that process is. You just had a brand new child, right?
Oh,
like
yeah.
it's a whole other step, right? It's different. Like, even moving from a one child family to having another baby, like
man.
There's a whole different level. Or you taking your, step out on your career and venturing into something that is freelance. It's still the same type of work,
Sure.
but has a different bite to it. So that channel's all about the journey, about documenting, about telling stories. There'll probably be product reviews. There'll probably be a lot of the same type of stuff that you're doing, just from a different lens.
Sure.
And it is, in a lot of ways, a desperate attempt to build and have a conversation with community members that are on the same path that I'm on.
Somebody like myself.
Yeah. People that are okay recognizing that documenting the journey and talking about it is as valuable, if not just is as valuable, if not more, than being at a finish line.
I love it, and I was trying to explain this to Josh recently, is that I honestly find it makes me more accountable too, because if I put it in a video, I mean,
it's hard.
It doesn't
you gotta
go away.
You run a risk.
I mean,
you run a risk if you're
Sure.
talking about things that you're gonna do.
Mhm.
At times, putting it in a video and telling people gives your psychology the reward that it's looking for, that supplements the act of doing itself.
Oh.
We did a list video talking about 5 reasons why your New Year's resolutions will fail.
I did watch that one.
And
yeah.
part of that reasoning is, if I'm bragging to you about what I'm going to do instead of executing on it and using all of my energy on doing, and I'm bragging, then when you say, "Oh, that's amazing, good job," that's the reward that my psychology already wants.
Okay.
That then gives me an excuse to not actually do the thing.
Do you think that's for everybody, or like
it is a human thing?
Really?
Yes. The act of bragging. Now, accountability is different.
Sure.
There is a degree of accountability. If you say you're going to do something, then you don't. The pressure of failure, the pressure of being let down, of your family, your friends looking, But the issue is many people use the act of bragging as an excuse to supplement the, they're like, oh, I'm going to hold myself accountable by telling you.
Yeah.
And then they fail time and time again. I mean, I did this as a teenager, a rambunctious, headstrong teenager. Like, I self-published a book when I was 15, and in my mind, I just needed to sell for like $10 a piece. I just needed to sell 100,000 copies.
Yeah.
And that felt very attainable. I don't know why, but like, it just
You're
seemed
like, I get it.
logical.
Yeah.
And so like, I was just telling everyone like, oh yeah, no, of course I and I made 20 grand.
Yeah.
But I didn't make $1 million.
Sure.
And so it's a tricky path. I believe in being accountable to your community. I believe in being, but I believe in being accountable to your community when it comes to values more than application. Do the thing before you brag about it.
Okay, I like that.
And then
Yeah.
And then once you're doing it, of course, brag about it.
Sure.
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
Like, if you put out a video every Tuesday for 6 months straight, then go on camera and say, hey, I put out a video every Tuesday for 6 months straight, and guess what? I'm going to be doing it for the next 2 years.
Yeah.
Because then you have a proof. You have you're already executing. So I believe in being accountable to your community with values. I believe in being accountable on personal relationships, to ideas and concepts that you haven't executed on yet. And even then it is dangerous. You don't want to get a reward. The accountability that I'd be looking for is when you come to me and you say, hey, here's an idea I have. I'm going to try to do it. I say, okay, here's some thoughts. Here's some feedback. Here's some,
You mean like my 100 email thing?
Here's some insight into that thing. And then the accountability that I'm looking for is me to answer and go, but I don't think you're going to do it.
Yeah. I hate when you do that.
No, but it's
I know.
But it's true.
Yeah. No,
that's
it's true.
the accountability.
Yeah.
Because I'm not giving you a reward.
Sure.
I'm not saying, oh yeah, you'd be excellent at that. You can do that. Good for you. Pat you on the back. Go off. You never.
That's
have
not
to do
what
it.
you actually need.
No.
Correct.
What you actually need is, yeah, it sounds like a great idea. Too bad you're not going to execute on it. Prove me wrong, right?
I know. That's
Sure.
the worst. That's great. Okay. Who's doing that to you?
Oh, no one. I'm already very successful.
Bullshit.
Right now, we mentioned Board Game Co. We mentioned Alex.
Yeah.
He's one of the driving forces in terms of where we're changing and shaping moving forward. He very much believes in what we can do and what we've been doing, but he picks on me all the time for not executing on the best ideas.
And that's something you would, sorry to cut you off, that's something you would highly encourage just about anybody. Find some people in your circle that can really, kind of lay it on you. And
Well, surround
upset.
people that are going to be honest with you,
Yeah.
and surround yourself with people that are doing it.
It's true.
Yeah, your community, your closest knit community, is going to be a reflection of yourself. And so, if you surround yourself with people who are angry or bitter or sad or poor or not successful, and that is if you surround yourself with people who you are judgmental of, because you see them and you say, well, why can't you just be happier in general? Why can't you stop being angry at the world? Why can't you work a little bit harder? They will very quickly, the people that are you're closest to will very quickly start being the reflection that you're projecting into the rest of the world. They influence you more than you'd ever see in yourself. And so consume, listen to, surround yourself with, invest in the people that reflect the things you'd like to be.
Yeah.
If you want to work harder, get into a community that is working hard. If you want to be a writer or a musician or play more games or take more vacations and a break more, find people that do that you can respect and admire, and very quickly you will become a reflection of what you're looking for or what you're not looking for.
Yeah.
And if you're not purposeful about that decision, and you just allow yourself to be surrounded by and influenced by anything and everything, then in a period of time you will look back and find yourself and start asking yourself, well, how did I become this?
Yeah.
And the answer will be the people that are around you.
Damn, that's good. Where are we at? We're at 34 minutes. I still feel like I got a lot of stuff to ask you.
Keep asking stuff.
Well,
I'm very good at talking confidently forward in a straight line.
Well, I want to get this to 40 minutes, and I think this next question will probably get us there.
Well, I mean,
because I want to hear
45 if you give me a break.
Well, maybe. I don't know. I might need more Red Bull, but what's the future plans for Quackalope and Jessie Samuel Anderson? That obviously I know that you're going to keep going on your current trajectory, but what's kind of like what are you swinging for the fences in 2021? What's something new?
So my New Year's resolution.
Oh, I thought we don't do those, right?
Yeah, I'm picking on you. I'm glad you caught that one. We've got a lot of things. We've got a lot of things happening, and part of it depends on the state of the world.
Sure.
A lot of it is current trajectory. My co-host and I are both single. Our girlfriends cheating on us is probably the best thing that's happened to us in years. And so, no offense, I had a long-term relationship come to an end about 2, maybe 3 years ago, and we are on good terms, and I respect the hell out of her. About to complete her PhD and everything like that, but it was a hard breakup. It definitely shaped the course of my life.
Yeah.
So my co-host and I will be moving in with each other here soon, and that will be a big step for Quackalope in terms of media production, having someone constantly there to drive each other forward, collaborate. We have a lot of goals for the channel. We want to build over the course of the next 2 to 3 years. We very, very effectively and purposefully are going to be building the most inclusive, diverse, welcoming table that exists in this hobby space. And those are interesting words, right? It's right now there's a lot of people that are claiming those titles and advertising with them. You see mass media and groups like Starbucks and things like that go out. Sorry, Starbucks, for throwing you under the bus, but you see a lot of groups that are saying, look at us shine, look at us do this thing, and advertising themselves off of that fact. And I believe in a different approach. I believe in not using it as a marketing gimmick or a marketing tool. I believe in, over the next 2 to 3 years, if you actually want to build a community that is welcoming to anyone that wants to sit down at the table with you. And we mentioned table because in the board game space, that's where you gather, right? That's the family. If we want to build that, then what we do over the course of the next 2 to 3 years is we're purposeful about it in terms of investing in people, giving people a platform, allowing them to have their own voice. But we also work a lot. We work behind the scenes, right? We invest in people one at a time, inviting them into the space, fighting for them to have a place here, and really caring that they're there. And so Jan and I are going to be focused on that. We've got a lot of people to collaborate with. We've got a lot of places that we're investing. We're probably going to be starting a Spanish-only channel.
Oh, nice.
Which is cool because Jan's Puerto Rican, through and through. And so we have a series where I will hopefully learn Spanish by playing board games with him.
Okay.
But we have a lot of concepts. As far as the personal brand goes, I'd like to get that more consistent. I'm working on a structure for it. I'd like to be able to produce content through burnout.
Sure.
Which is complicated because when you are exhausted or you are depressed or you are burnout, it's easy to produce a series of videos that come off as whining or complaining. That come off as war stories and not helpful. And so figuring out how to produce content that allows me to be honest, even during times where I'm having a hard time, that's tricky. Because we're getting to the point now where I need to do a update video for that channel, talking about the past week and a half, talking about the burnout, talking about what drove me there. Yeah. But it has to be right now reflective. I can't sit down and produce content while I'm in the middle of it because it's very hard to see your way through it. And so getting that channel structured, I'd like to over the course of the next year see Quackalope hit 35 to 50,000. And that is maintaining.
Sure.
If we get bigger than that, that'd be great. But that's sort of the thought process for the personal brand. This will be the first year that we're running it. I'd like to see it cross 10K.
Sure.
I think it'll take a degree of purposefulness to get it there.
Yeah.
And then long term, we're talking 5 to 8 years down the line. We fully intend to be one of the biggest board game media communities in the space. And
when you say media community, that means you will do all sorts of stuff from videos to building personalities to even back end stuff, right?
That's commercial work, advertisement, YouTube Spaces, Patreon, Discord, Facebook, any of those social media platforms. Really anything that goes into investing in publishers as one branch and investing in our community as another. The actual people that play the games and then the actual people that produce the game. We're sort of the middleman in a lot of ways. So that's part of it. I'd like to 28 now. But I'm like 32 to 34. I'd love to be doing more direct coaching and personal investment. A lot of that will be stuff that I can give away for free, but as time gets more and more limited, doing something that gives people limited access to coaching or counseling. I don't know the model for that yet. I think a lot of people risked going down the route of self-help, and and that's not. I have no interest in that. I have an interest in recouping cost from people that I've invested in that allows them to win, right? Like, there's a lot of publishers,
together, right?
Yeah, though there's a lot of. I told you I was excited for you to go freelance because I want you to make me a lot of money.
I want to work with you so we can make money together, which is why we've been friends for years, and we don't even like hide that, right?
No, no, I fully intend for you to make me money.
Yeah, same here.
I have a lot of I have a lot of small, like a good example would be I have a lot of small publishers that are first time coming to Kickstarter, first time publishing a game.
Okay.
And in our industry right now, you don't make money off your first game.
Oh.
You spend 5 years designing it.
You're just clearly trying to probably not even break even.
Even, get a game to the table. Yeah. Sometimes not even break even, but sometimes
business.
Sometimes break even. Sometimes even be able to pay yourself, $1 an hour for the work that you've put in. Genuine. I'm not even joking. The amount of volunteer labor that exists in our hobby right now, and it's a blooming entrepreneurial hobby. So it is appropriate. It makes sense that the scrappiest, hardest working, willing to sacrifice type of individuals are the ones that are going to win right now.
Yeah.
But long term, that just can't be. It has to stabilize to a degree. It has to become profitable to a degree for the space to continue growing. But one of the things that we do is I tell small publishers, my phone's ringing, I'm trying to tell it to stop. I tell small publishers, hey, you're not going to make money right now, but I like your game and I like you and I want to invest in you. So we're going to do coverage for you. We're going to do it free. We're going to share it with our audience. We're going to help you do well. And then part of that straight up conversation is, and the next time you do a reprint or come out with I want you to win so big on this first launch that in a year or 2 years, when you come back to us, I'm going to charge you too much. Right? Because it's a fair negotiation.
Sure.
And so that's the idea that I want to have with investing in people. I want to figure out a way over the next 5 years to really, really purposefully identify and invest in a group of individuals, whether it's inside or outside of the board game space, where I say, hey, I'm pouring into you. You're going to win because of that. And then I want you to make me money.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
I don't want to take your money.
Yeah.
I want to help you earn so much you can just send some my way, ship it downstream a little bit.
I scratch your back, you scratch my back kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, dude, I think it has been a pleasure.
We did not talk about what you were hoping to talk about, though.
But I said in the car, your gear, see, my whole point to having Jessie on here was simple. Your gear I view as something completely different, and a lot of it I view your gear up here.
Sure.
So that's why I wanted to have you on.
All
the
that being said, we do want to take a moment to go ahead and thank our
sponsors.
Red Bull. It gives you wings.
And Movo. Movo hooked me up with some sweet mics. They literally did.
That's fair.
I mean, we finally
to be fair, Movo's genuinely the sponsor
of this video, I guess.
Red Bull is just the most tasty. Probably, heightens your intellect. Introduces a variety of different caffeine into your system, which gives you a boost of energy, more confidence and creativity. Allows you to focus on a single project for an extended period of time. If anything, I'd say Superman drank Red Bull.
It gives you wings.
It gives you wings.
They should hire you to do it.
Maybe sooner or later.
One day, man. Quackalope's good.
I mean,
on Red Bull?
I'm not against it.
I mean, ducks have wings, right? There you go. Kind of, maybe.
They do. Yeah, they migrate.
It works. That was good.
Is that it? Is it over?
I can hit.
I always want to have, every time I finish a thing like this, I always want that hot mic moment where it's like we just spent so long talking about community and investing in people, and I'm always just because I think it's the funniest thing to be like you end the show and then I just go, well, screw that. Oh, can you believe the stuff we just talked about?
Bunch of losers.
Or just be like a complete jerk to you. Just because it's so anti what I would ever do, but it seems like the funniest thing.